Blessings, namaste, and love, everyone. I'm spiritualist, psychic astrologer, and medium Sette. As always, I thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share with you my astrological and spiritual insights. And in this segment, we are looking to the month of December 2024. We are wrapping up yet another auspicious year, and certainly energetically this year may be, or rather this month may be one of the most intense months energetically and with these planetary alignments of the entire year. And as always, when we understand how to properly work with the planetary alignments, we have the ability to counteract any potential negative aspects, any potential negative influences or outcomes of any alignment. We just have to understand how to work with the energy and have the willingness on our part to have that awareness and embrace whatever is required on our part to counteract the negative influences. And I've said this for many, many years, even when what seems to be an adverse alignment is presented to us, we have the opportunity and the ability, because of our free will, how to counterbalance any of the negative influences. Every aspect, every sign, every alignment has a lower vibration and a higher vibration, and wherever it is we're directing our attention in a certain moment of a specific alignment, that's what we will bring to form because of our free will. The planets do not have power over us. When we understand how to work with these alignments, we become the master of our destiny. Now, the December timeframe, specifically the December 15th full moon and the December 30th new moon, are what I refer to as trigger points for the coming eclipses, which we have in March. So this December timeframe is the opportunity to energetically prepare for whatever is coming and whatever will be presented to us with the coming eclipses in March. And again, remember, it's how we work with these energies and how any alignment will be specific to us on a personal level. It's always dependent upon where that phenomena is placed in our astrological charts and how it is being and aligned to the other points in our charts. When I create these videos, I'm always emphasizing that we offer a general understanding how to work with these energies, but on a personal level, we really have to look to see how everything is placed in our charts to really understand individually how we can work with the energies and what we can possibly expect to come to form. Now, as I mentioned, our next new moon is on December 1st. Now, we always have that opportunity to energetically prepare for the new moon with the last phase of the lunar cycle, which is referred to as the balsamic moon phase. That's the last stage of the lunar cycle, which is what's referred to as the dark moon. It's a time to clear, cleanse, and purge and energetically prepare for what is coming for us at the next new moon. Now, the balsamic moon phase begins on November 26th, and the exact time of that is 11:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the moment where we begin to prepare for what is coming for us at the next new moon. We also, by the way, we do have two new moons in December, on December 1st and on December 30th, the second being referred to and known as a blue moon. Personally, I don't place a lot of emphasis on two moons in a calendar month because, remember, for one thing, the calendar month is of the lower realms. It's a lower third dimensional experience. It's not necessarily in alignment with these planetary cycles. That's why, every 4 years we have leap year. That's a human constraint. That's a human, what I refer to as being a limitation. Many times these elements, such as a calendar, a human created calendar, sometimes it and places restrictions and limitations to all of this. Because with astrology, we look at cycles, and they're not confined to the limitations of the lower realms in the third dimension. Not to discredit any of that, however, we look at all of this, we look to the metaphysical to receive and understand higher insights and higher knowing of how all of this works and how every one of us has the opportunity to really employ this energy and embrace it and make the most of it. That being said, our new moon, our first new moon of December is on December 1st at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is in the sign which represents the higher mind and the higher self, Sagittarius. So this new moon is an opportunity for everyone to receive insights and guidance from the higher realms, as well as our own personal higher mind and higher self regarding understandings of our own journeys, ourselves, as well as what is unfolding in the outside world. That higher understanding of what is really occurring, every one of us has the opportunity to really embrace. And again, when we are working with our higher mind and higher self, and we are properly keeping ourselves energetically clear and grounded from any of the lower dimensional interferences, which sometimes create like that static electricity on a phone line that causes us to not to necessarily hear with clarity what we are being given. Sagittarius is the sign that represents higher truth. And another video segment that I actually want to dedicate some time to recreating specifically for is higher truth. And with that being said, what I would suggest to recognize at this new moon, your own personal higher truth, which even though someone else's higher truth may not necessarily be in alignment with your higher truth, it doesn't discredit yours or the higher truth of another. Part of this human experience is for us to really embrace and discover our higher truth and work with that understanding and apply that understanding to our lives so that we can make the most of all these experiences. If every one of us was of the same mind, it would in part negate this human experience, because part of it, and this is why one understanding why there are so many schools of thought regarding religion and philosophies. It's for us to discover and explore those realms of understanding, which, quite honestly, at this new moon, it's a great opportunity to do just that, and to explore all of that and embrace what resonates with us and apply that in our own human experiences. At the balsamic moon, it would be an opportunity to really reflect on whatever beliefs may not necessarily serve a greater purpose for you any longer. If your beliefs are not allowing you to really embrace and enjoy all the blessings of your birthright, well, quite honestly, it's time to change those beliefs and allow yourself to receive higher beliefs, higher insights, and higher knowing that will allow you to enjoy everything that you desire to enjoy in this human form. When we become aware of how to really harness the energy of the mind, which this is also another opportunity to do that at this new moon, we become the master of our destiny. When we have the opportunity to really channel that dynamic specifically and allow it to be in alignment with our desires. When there's an alignment with the higher mind, that's higher self, as well as with our desires, then we are even more empowered to bring to form what it is that we truly desire to experience while we are in this human form. At the time of the new moon, we have Virgo rising in the chart at the critical late degree of 29. 29 degrees of Virgo is rising at the time of the new moon, and it's also being opposed by Neptune in the late degrees of Pisces. Now, the rising sign in a mundane chart, which is a chart that is cast for the new moon or a full moon and applies to the outside world, the rising sign represents the collective, the people, the masses. At Virgo and Gemini are the two signs which most represent and are connected with on a lower vibration psychosis, because they are ruled by Mercury. And that lower dimensional demonstration only demonstrates itself, or only will be evident, when there are adverse influences to the sign Virgo, as well as the Mercury element in a chart. It doesn't mean that everyone who's a Virgo or Gemini who has those those signs prominent in their charts will have those characteristics. When that energy is not necessarily anchored, if there's an adverse alignment to the Virgo or the Mercury elements, there can potentially be that mental discord. However, at the higher vibrational, when it's anchored and grounded, it creates a very powerful dynamic of the mind and allows us to really be very instrumental or become very instrumental or be very aware of how instrumental we are in creating our realities. When it isn't grounded, then it's scattered and sometimes to an extreme. Now, I'm offering a very rudimentary explanation of all of this. If for those who would like to embrace higher insights regarding the discord, the mental discord, or what is known as mental discord, there's an amazing book that's entitled "Remarkable Healings" by a psychiatrist by the name of Dr. Modi, and this book was published in the late 90s, I believe around 97, and it really offers an alternative insight to these what are referred to as mental imbalances, actually the actual origins of where all of this stems from, to give us, again, a metaphysical understanding as to why we have these experiences. And I am digressing, however, perhaps maybe I am not. But what I'm emphasizing is that we have Neptune at the late degrees of Pisces. I'm going to touch upon that in a moment, forming an opposition to that Virgo rising at the critical late degree, which could very well indicate that in the outside world there will be a surge of mental discord and imbalances. But primarily, this is a release. This is a clearing. This is a cleansing. This is a purging of that psychosis, which exists in the subconsciousness of the masses. I've also shared my understanding of what the shamans refer to as the Wetiko virus, which is a psychosis which runs rampant in the outside world. There is such a clearing, cleansing, purging of this that is occurring, and in the December timeframe, it may very well be escalated. That being said, my suggestion is to understand how to keep yourself energetically clear and protected from any of that psychic discord that, especially to those of us who are acutely sensitive to all of this, may potentially feel some of the negative influences. And once again, when we understand how to work with the energies, how to properly work with these alignments, and to recognize what is required on our part to counteract any potential imbalance, we don't necessarily need to have a first-hand experience of the discord. We can be what we refer to as being in the world and not of it, being that calm in the center of the storm. Remember, being peaceful doesn't mean there's going to be peacefulness around you. It's having that experience from within yourself and being an observer of what is occurring in the outside world and not taking on any of that discord. This new moon, it's such an opportunity to really understand, one, on a personal level, is there any emotional or mental discord that you need to clear, cleanse, purge, and release. Sagittarius, as I said, it's a sign of the higher mind, the higher self. It's beliefs, philosophies, higher beliefs. At the time of the balsamic moon, perhaps reflect on your own personal beliefs. If your beliefs are not offering you the opportunity to really enjoy all the blessings of your birthright, this is an opportunity to change those beliefs. I believe it was Wayne Dyer that wrote a book that said, change your thoughts, change your thinking, and change your life. If we want our lives to change, we have to first and foremost recognize and understand what's going on within the self. That stems from the thoughts and the beliefs, which bring to form all that is that we experience. I believe it was in chapter 3 of my book, I suggested that if we allowed ourselves to recognize, honor, and acknowledge every thought that we had on every moment of every given day, we would clearly understand how we create all the experiences that we are encountering while we are in this human form. So this new moon, it's an auspicious opportunity to fine-tune those beliefs and be certain that they are in alignment with your desires. When there's a congruency with thought, word, and deed, that's the creative process, thought, word, and deed, then we allow ourselves to recognize that we are the master of our destiny, and we're bringing to form all that is that we truly desire when those three components are in alignment with one another. Now, I made reference to Neptune in Pisces. Neptune has been retrograde since July 2nd and it has been hovering in the late degrees of Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. Pisces represents all that goes on beneath the surface that is hidden within the self, especially any mental and emotional discord that we carry with us throughout our lives. So there's an intensified cleansing, clearing process of this mental and emotional discord that has been happening. And whenever these experiences are so intensified, it is preparing us. They are the opportunities, and they're preparing us for whatever is coming next. Now, Neptune will be hovering at the late degrees of Pisces, and it will begin its passage of Aries, but not fully beginning its passage of Aries until 2026. Through most of 2025, Neptune will be hovering at the late degree of Pisces. It will first dip into Aries on March 30th. It moves retrograde on July 4th. It will go back into Pisces on October 22nd. I am digressing a little bit here. It will go direct on December 10th, and it will fully begin its passage of Aries on January 26th of 2026. And what I'm emphasizing again is this intensified clearing of the mental and emotional discord that has been going on in the collective unconsciousness as well as within the self. This is also an opportunity to really clear away universally whatever misinformation has been given to us in the realms of religion that really is projected on us through indoctrinations that unfortunately is not necessarily in alignment with the universal consciousness and the understandings of all that we are experiencing in this human form. And there is a clarity that is occurring. Neptune will at times bring about great confusion as well as misinformation. And Neptune also will bring about great clarity. Again, when we are working with the energy. Remember, when we understand how to work with the energy, we have the opportunity to counteract any of the potential Neptune influences. Once any potential negative influences, but in this instance specifically with Neptune, remember, we all have the opportunity to properly work with this energy when we really understand how to do just that. So as Neptune really completes a greater cycle of experience and prepares to begin the passage of Aries, once Neptune fully goes into Aries, we will see a greater understanding especially regarding spirituality and how every one of us perhaps has been misinformed for eons. Part of these times of revelations is the reveal and disclosure of the misinformation, as well as some of the atrocities that have taken place while we are in this human form. And again, the bottom line in all of this is for every one of us, no one to be left out, to really recognize that we are the masters of our destiny. But in order to get there, we have to recognize what isn't in alignment with that great potential of this human experience that we are enjoying. Now, our next full moon will be on December 15th, and the exact time of the full moon is 4:01, almost 4:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The full moon is in the sign of Gemini. So, when there are so many alignments geared toward a specific characteristics, for example, in this instance, the higher mind, the higher selves, our thought, we have to recognize there's an importance to all of this at a specific given time. And very much so because, the more that we can keep ourselves mentally and emotionally clear and grounded, when we come to that next eclipse season, whatever potential is in those alignments, we are empowered to really enjoy the higher vibrational blessings of those experiences. With the full moon in Gemini, certainly that mental and emotional discord that I've been referring to could very well be heightened. The full moon always amps up everything that's going on. But part of these experiences, and it's something that I need to touch upon during one of my Pluto videos, is that we all, every one of us, are being offered the opportunity to really understand spiritual power and how to harness this energy, not to disempower another, but to really, once again, become the master of our destiny, and how all of this originates from the spirit realm and our higher consciousness and our higher self. This month of December, it's such a time to clear away all of this mental and emotional discord. And remember, we may see all of that being amplified in the outside world. So always be mindful of keeping yourself energetically grounded and shielded and protected from any of these discordant potential influences that are surging, being cleansed and purged in the outside world. We are at the time of the holiday season. The winter solstice begins on December 21st at exactly 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I've talked about this just about every year, how the December winter solstice, the winter solstice, it's an opportunity to energetically prepare to receive the blessings of prosperity, especially financial abundance for the coming year. And I always share my own personal demonstrations of lighting a bayberry candle at the time of the winter solstice. Specifically, I use 4 bayberry candles. The green candles, the bayberry candles, represent monetary financial abundance. And employing the dynamic and the potential of a bayberry candle specifically at the winter solstice, it energetically prepares us to receive these blessings in the coming year. My demonstration is that I energize before the winter solstice, before that exact moment, I energize these 4 bayberry candles with my intentions for prosperity for the coming year. And at the exact moment of the winter solstice, I light the candle, and each one lasts about 3 or 4 days. And before the initial candle exhausts itself, I will light the next candle with the flame of the initial candle and just follow suit until all 4 candles are exhausted and lighting. And it always seems to work out with the timing that the last candle will extinguish itself at the end of the Yule season, which is on January 6th with the holiday, the celebration of Little Christmas, 3 Kings Day. December 21st through December 6th is officially what is known as the Yule season, and it's really the time to certainly welcome the many blessings that every one of us has been designed to enjoy, especially financial blessings, and financial prosperity. This December time frame, through many beliefs, whether it be the winter solstice, Yule, Christmas, Hanukkah, it's all about the return to light. And this December time frame can be one of the most significant returns to light for every one of us. So again, we want to work with this energy and be certain that we are in alignment with these vibrational frequencies so that we can embrace the blessings of our birthright that every one of us has been designed to enjoy. Throughout this year, many of us have had experiences where our loved ones have departed into the spirit realm. Certainly it's a time to honor them and to recognize and understand that they are still very much with us. Quite often the first holiday season that we've lost a loved one can certainly be the most difficult. However, allow ourselves to really understand how joyful they are in their own experiences in the spirit realm. When we've transitioned into the spirit realm, it doesn't necessarily infer that we are absolved from the creative process and the continual learning experience. However, I understand and how Spirit has shown me and what Spirit has shown me that when we're learning in the spirit realm and working through all of this, it's not necessarily as difficult and daunting as it is in the physical form. Remember, in this realm of density and matter, everything is very thick and very heavy. And sometimes it is very difficult to work through things and to have these experiences. Many times it's really sometimes at least I know I can be at times, be our own worst enemy. And in the spirit realm, it's not necessarily as difficult as it is here. And spirit, our loved ones, they so want us to know that they are very much part of our experiences. So, allow yourself, certainly, if you are grieving, to allow yourself the experience of grieving, because it is necessary for us to allow ourselves to grieve so that we can heal, but also recognize that our loved ones, especially during the holiday seasons, are still very much part of our, experiences, and they so want us to know that they are still connected to us. And again, all of that, those connections become much more clear to us when we are peaceful and when we are anchored and grounded and when we are clear in our etheric being. Now, our next new moon will be on, as I said, December 30th. And the balsamic moon, which again is that preparatory phase, which allows us to energetically set the tone for whatever it is we're casting in motion at the new moon. And that balsamic phase will be on December 26th at 8:43 p.m. Again, that's the auspicious opportunity to prepare for the coming lunar cycle, which is on the new moon, our second new moon, on December 30th, and the exact time of that is 5:27 p.m. The new moon, it's in the sign of Capricorn. It's almost 10 degrees of Capricorn. And with this new moon being just before New Year's Eve, the sign of Capricorn most represents our goals, our career, our profession. It also, as I understand it, it represents our higher and greater purpose. So I've noticed that so many, especially actually going back as far as 2008, and in working with hundreds, if not thousands, of clients a year, so many have been inspired to really recognize and understand why they are here and their greater purpose. That Capricorn element represents that. So if you are still not clear as to what that might be for you, first see that new moon phase, that balsamic moon phase, as being the opportunity to energetically prepare for the new moon and clear away any of that confusion that might interfere with you knowing and receiving and recognizing what that higher purpose is for you, especially as we start this new year. Personally, I don't necessarily acknowledge as much the calendar cycles as much as I do, being who I am, the astrologer, the astrological cycles. And really the beginnings commence at new moons and not necessarily the first date of a calendar month. And with this new moon coinciding with New Year's Eve and the start of a new year, certainly this is an even greater opportunity to plant those seeds in motion, certainly for your goals for the coming year and what it is that you would desire and enjoy to experience and bring to form as you go through this year. Maybe at that balsamic moon, as I said, reflect on what your goals might be, what your greater purpose might be, but also, allow yourself to honor when Spirit is showing you something about you. Many times, when Spirit shows us a great potential about ourselves, sometimes it seems like it's out of the realm of possibilities, like it's abstract and it's, very far-fetched. However, when we are clear and grounded, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt what that might be, and also what is required on our part to make that happen. Remember, Spirit will always show us clarity and plant those seeds of inspiration. It's up to us whether or not we're going to honor what Spirit is showing us, and then recognize and understand what is required on our part to make it happen. Remember, Spirit doesn't just wave a magic wand. We have a free will. Spirit will guide us and direct us. It will support us. It will be whatever it is necessary for us to really embrace and enjoy the blessings of our birthright, as well as tap into our own greater potential. However, because we have a free will. If we're not recognized what is required on our part to bring all that to form, nothing will change. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you desire things in your life on a personal level to change, recognize what's required on your part regarding changing your thoughts, changing your mindset, shifting all of that energy. Those changes will bring forth many blessings, and don't be afraid. Certainly do not be afraid. Remember, we are in the season of that celebration of returning to light, and so many of us, in every moment of every day, have that opportunity to return to light, to return to that place of love within the self. Let yourself perhaps reflect on what in the outside world may not necessarily be in alignment with what you truly desire to enjoy and experience, and break away from all of that while having respect for others and honoring the higher truth and the understanding of another, even if it's not necessarily in alignment with yours. Remember, there's no wrong or right here. It's more having the understanding of what is serving a greater purpose for every one of us. Also, it's my suggestion to just hold the intention that whatever is occurring in the outside world will unfold for the highest good of all, and allow spirit to conduct its blessings, so to make all of that happen. I've also said that, remember, if something isn't necessarily occurring the way we think it should happen, it doesn't mean that whatever is unfolding is perfect and in alignment with something greater. It's, our human hindered eyes don't always allow us to see the bigger picture and have a full understanding as to why certain things happen the way that they do. It doesn't mean that we can't receive that understanding. And again, in order to do that, we need to be clear, peaceful, and grounded, and removed from the energetic discord and the cacophony that occurs in the outside world, especially that chatter, which very much, these days we're so overwhelmed and inundated by that, especially by electronics, the Wi-Fi's, all these gadgets that we have. There are many tools to counteract all of that. Explore all those options and embrace, as always, what resonates with you, so that you may enjoy the blessings of your birthright. This season can be a return to light like no other for ourselves personally, but as well as throughout the entirety of humanity. As always, I'm grateful for these opportunities to share with you my understandings, my spiritual and astrological insights, as part of my intentions and my goals for the coming years, to create more of these inspirational videos for you, to just keep you inspired to recognize your greatest potential. This is, for me anyway, part of my mission statement, which began a long time ago, is to be here to inspire you to recognize your unique and personal greatest human potential, for you to recognize that, honor it, and demonstrate it. As always, many blessings. I'm wishing everyone a most blessed and bountiful, warm and wonderful holiday season. Always be in that place of gratitude, honor the many blessings that are around you, and welcome the many blessings to come. Namaste, and we will see each other again very soon.